So as I summarized at the end of the day yesterday, I learned quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to learning even more today. We've got a great lineup, and one of the very interesting things going on in the world is all the fresh new data that's out there that we can use to support our hunch. And we're going to start the morning with Nino Sitchinava from Houzz, who has access to a treasure trove of data I think you all would like access to. Imagining having 40 million users on your website registered every single month, favoriting what they like and don't like, and how you could use that in your business. And so that's what she has. So she's going to start us off. Then we're going to roll into a panel on master plans, which have really changed a lot. One of the things I was hoping to do being here in Houston was take you out to one of the crystal lagoons. We weren't able to pull that off this time. But that's a great example of something brand new that's coming to master plans. Then we'll have another trend speaker, Renee LeBay, talk about the trends that she is seeing in architecture, interiors, and landscaping. We'll talk about the 55-plus master plan communities. We're going to ask the talented architects from Basseni and Lagoni to come back and bring together something I think you're really going to enjoy from the workshop we did yesterday. Then we'll have the architects talk about what they see coming down the line in the future. And then we're going to feature a number of the building products companies. We're going to do even more of this next year. Kohler, Mohawk, and then a pinch hitter. Laura's going to step in from DuPont. She's their head of global innovation. But the building products companies do a lot of research and actually don't get an opportunity really to talk to the people actually designing it and speccing what they do. So this is a great opportunity for them and for you to get to know them and tap into their brains, because they've got some great things going on. And then what we'll all do together is wrap up in a roundtable format at the end of the day. What are the game changers for you from the day and a half with us? What are you going to take back, and what kind of a difference is it going to make? I find at these conferences, if you just kind of leave and don't do that, you really don't get all the value. So with that, I'm going to introduce Nino from Houzz. Nino's their economist, but she also has a great eye for design. And I also learned just this morning that you're quite an entrepreneur, too. Maybe I'll let you tell the story, but is it true that you were the first unit that Airbnb rented out? One of the first, so she actually was one of the first Airbnb landlords living downstairs from one of the founders when they got started. So maybe she'll tell us a little on that story, too. But please welcome Nino Sitchinava.
Just want the clicker. All right. Just going to test run this really quickly. Oh. Nope. Nope. Breaking the surprise factor here. Anybody can, which way do I? The red. You want to go back. Fantastic, thank you. That's what it is. All right. Fantastic. Thanks so much for listening to me. I'm very excited to be here today. We're going to go through a very quick visual buffet today in the next 30 minutes. Should warm you guys up for the next several sessions. Before we get started, I want to start with a little warm-up exercise to give you a better sense of what Houzz is all about. So we'll start with looking at some of the photos. You saw a quick preview, unfortunately, but some of the photos that may or may not be on houzz.com, and I would love to get your perspective on whether you think there are. So let's get started. This is an interesting twist on farmhouse aesthetic. This is what you would do if you were taking a bath in the middle of a pasture, potentially. So a raise of hands whether you think you can find this on Houzz or not. All right, moving on. Another twist on the Victorian aesthetic that's on the rise today. Question to the audience, would you want to have this thrown in your own home? Can you find this on Houzz or not? All right. Let's keep going. You know, we were talking yesterday about how there's so many things watching you in your home today, from assistants to things you don't really even know about. And murals are trending quite a bit right now. And this is another reminder that there is another set of pair of eyes watching you. Do you think you can find this on Houzz? Yes. All right. Moving forward, I would love to hear whether you can get premium for this mural design in your construction. Imagine every home you build has, you know, paintings of mice on the staircase. This is one of my favorites. It's pretty whimsical, I think. Do you think you can find this on Houzz? Yeah. And moving forward, and this is a great picture I show my kids not to do. You know, I don't know why would you want to have a validation of behavior you don't want to encourage, but do you guys think that you can find this on Houzz? Yes, so everybody who raised hands for every 5 of the pictures is right on point. Over 18 million high-resolution photos on Houzz, 40 million users coming and engaging with those photos every single day. And we have a ton of data on what consumers like and don't like. They don't tend to engage with photos like this, but I do really like the sentiment of those architects, interior designers, and general contractors who've uploaded very unique, eclectic designs to Houzz. So we span a very wide spectrum of designs and aesthetics. So today what I would like to do is I would like to dissect with you many of the trends that we are observing on the website and start to make some predictions for the next 10 years of what's going to be trending. We're very quantitative at Houzz. We use data that comes from our web analytics. We also field a ton of surveys on quarterly basis of users on Houzz and general contractors and architects and interior designers to try to triangulate what is actually happening in the industry from a very, very quantitative angle. A lot of the engagement on the site is very inspirational. There's a ton of pictures. Homeowners come to the site, they want to get inspiration for what to do next. But do they actually incorporate some of that inspiration? And that's where our surveys come in, and we ask very detailed questions of recent renovating homeowners. What did they actually do? And then we put those two together, the web analytics and the surveys, and we validate what is going to be the next trend of the future. And today I will dissect very detailed trends, and then we will put them all together for the next 10 years. What do we expect in kitchens, and what do we expect in master bathrooms? That's just the beginning. As we evolve as an organization, I imagine we can do this for every room of the house, for every exterior feature, for every outdoor element. So today I'm going to talk about 3 types of trends and the way we track them. The first trend is the category leaders. What is here today? What's been steady? What's not going away anytime soon? The next one is the rising star. What has crossed a 10% penetration threshold and is rapidly growing? And usually when I try to triangulate information, what I have seen is that crossing that 10% threshold and seeing that growth trajectory is a validation that there is a pretty great enthusiasm for what's that style or for that trend. And so we'll take a look at the rising stars. And finally, I will also display some of the hot trends. I'm not sure whether these hot trends are here to stay. Typically, we want to see that they've crossed at least a 2% market share, you know, in terms of the overall market penetration. And we want to see a pretty rapid uptake, a lot of hot engagement through our web analytics data through the site. But I'm not sure if in the next 10 years these trends are going to be here. But I do know that today they're extremely popular. So let's get started and start looking at kitchens. So first of all, let's begin with the kitchen style. We're going to start with transitional style, the #1 style in kitchens today. A lot of appetite for this style. And the shares here show how many what share of the renovating homeowners who renovated a kitchen by year actually incorporated that style. As it goes with trends, there's a little bit volatility in market share year after year, but ultimately you can see that it's a 20% market penetration for the transitional style, and we're seeing a lot of engagement from our web analytics with this especially particular photo. So all the photos I'm showing are the hot photos that are trending today. And some things to note about the transitional style: it's a great style. It's a very comforting style. It's somewhere between traditional, it still preserves some of the detailing, but it's leaning towards contemporary with sleek, uncluttered type of a look, with a lot of the neutral to bold colors. But it kind of spans in the middle. And so when I talk to our data ops team, I'm like, how do you know that it's transitional? And they say, well, I know it's not traditional, and I know it's not contemporary, so it must be somewhere in the middle, and that becomes a transitional style. So it's a very easy style to work with because it's pretty forgiving, and I believe that's the reason why homeowners are starting to gravitate towards that style. The next aesthetic is contemporary, the second most popular aesthetic on the site. Contemporary is in the last, half of the 20th century. It borrows from a lot of different styles. It has that uncluttered, very spacious feel. It has a lot of neutral colors, but also integration of some of the more pronounced, bold colors in a very saturated tones. But again, there's some volatility in the trends, but ultimately, we're seeing some stabilizing market share at 15%. So contemporary is the second most popular style. And the third most popular style, and this is our rising star. This is where we're now seeing a lot of the trends going, and that's the farmhouse style. Again, another very comfortable, very forgiving style. It brings in some of that country living elements, a lot of warm wood, still a little bit uncluttered, but brings a lot of that sort of chic but comfortable design. And we are seeing farmhouse now coming in many different forms. There is farmhouse modern, tilting more modern. There's farmhouse contemporary, farmhouse rustic, farmhouse chic. So many different variations on this style. Another one that is just growing through the roof in terms of its overall aesthetic, in terms of the products being manufactured, and so forth. All right, and so other hot trends to watch. Industrial is a big one right now. There's a lot of industrial photos being uploaded, a lot of engagement from the homeowners. Not sure whether this is here to stay. It's pretty dramatic. It's a personality style, and I'm not sure if it's really for everyone. And the second one is the rustic style at roughly 2% market penetration today. And surprisingly, we see a lot of rustic styles in urban dwellings. It's almost like urban dwellers want to go back to the roots. They want to get grounded in more rustic aesthetic, and we're seeing that in kitchens quite a bit in urban centers. All right, so that's for styles. Moving on, and I'm going to get going with this pretty quickly. The next one is cabinets. Really important trend to observe about cabinets is that the door style of the cabinets just has not moved in the last 5 years. Shaker at the top, flat panel next, raised panel last, and it's just been that. And we're seeing that in terms of the photos that are being uploaded and in terms of what the homeowners are engaging with and telling us in our surveys. Shaker is dominant. The interesting part about shaker style is that it pretty often is paired with white. White is not going away anytime soon. I think we've seen some rumor that maybe people are tired of white. That's not the case. 40%, pretty steady market share. One of the things about white that you want to keep in mind is that white comes now in lots of different shades, and we're seeing creamy, oyster white color schemes coming through. And so white is not just that brilliant modern white. We see a whole spectrum of white, but white is here to stay. The next one is wood. We've seen a pretty big drop in wood aesthetic cabinets in wood color earlier, like 5 years ago. But we're seeing that share has stabilized now. Wood cabinetry is popular. It's a mainstream look, and I imagine the rising power of farmhouse style is propping wood. We're going to be seeing a lot more wood coming through, something to keep in mind as you design your kitchens. And the rising star on the horizon is gray. Gray is where the trends are going, gray all the way, and you will see that in bathrooms as well. A really, really cool color, a really easy color to clean and maintain. It comes in lots of different shades as well, and you can see it has gained a pretty robust popularity year after year. And some of the things to note here is black cabinets. This moody aesthetic coming from Europe is really hitting Houzz pretty hard. Blue cabinets as well, some emerald greens coming through. Not sure again if this trend is here to stay, but it is a style that homeowners are engaging with in a pretty enthusiastic way. Moving on to countertops. Countertops are the #1 thing homeowners splurge on. #1 thing that they go over budget on in repeated surveys of homeowners. Countertops are the focal part of a kitchen, and there is a battle going on in the world of countertops today, and that's the battle between granite and engineered quartz. We don't get a lot of drama in design. Here's where the drama is focused on today, and that's that engineered quartz is really winning that battle. Engineered quartz comes with so much versatility, heat resistance, chip resistance, and so forth, and homeowners are just embracing it with fury. Interestingly, for engineered quartz, the tariffs have affected the pricing in an enormous way. We've seen contractors tell us that the price of engineered quartz quadrupled or increased 300%, and still homeowners are embracing it because the material is just so versatile. But we'll see what happens with engineered quartz this year and whether it continues its popularity trend. But what happens with engineered quartz is that it's really impacting the aesthetic. That multicolor look from granite cabinetry that we're so accustomed to seeing in kitchens, it's really diminishing in popularity. It's really going away. And what is coming through is white, solid white in countertops. And so white countertops are great against white cabinetry, white countertops against gray cabinetry. That type of dynamic, those type of colors are really prominent and really sticking, it seems like, with the homeowner preferences. So moving on to flooring, a similar type of a dynamic. Natural materials are losing ground. Engineered materials are really gaining popularity. Engineered wood and laminate is really outpacing today hardwood. I think that's a response to potentially some of the labor shortages we're seeing in the industry. Engineered wood is a lot easier to install than hardwood, and I think general contractors are really pushing homeowners to install engineered wood as well. So something to keep in mind for your designs. Okay, interesting point about the vinyl and resilient flooring is that you have on the left kind of the old-fashioned vinyl look. On the right, you have the new textures. Vinyl now comes in all sorts of textures, colors. It's slip-resistant. It's extremely popular among the baby boomer generation. We're seeing it coming through, and you don't even know what kind of material it is. We don't know if it's engineered wood because it looks like wood, but it actually is vinyl. So a lot of really interesting stuff going on with vinyl there. Next, kitchen appliances. Stainless steel has been there for many years. We're still finally seeing the market share slip. The market share of stainless steel is declining, and the rising star on the horizon is black stainless. It's rapidly gaining popularity. It is something that's starting to appear more and more in photos, and we expect that to be the next big element in appliances. But with that, technology is had a big breakthrough in 2019. 2017, wireless controls in major appliances have finally passed that 10% threshold. Homeowners are telling us they need that in their major appliances. Baffles me. I don't want to control my appliances wirelessly, but it seems like homeowners are embracing the technology in appliances, and it's finally starting to come through in kitchens. And a big hot trend we're watching is hiding all of the appliances. I think that's been a luxury look for quite some time, but today we're finally seeing that coming through loud and clear, that homeowners just really don't want to see the appliances. They want the kitchen to be just part of the living space and look like the living space. And finally, touching on kind of the general look and feel of the kitchens, we have the L-shaped layout up on top, U-shaped layout down below. And what's interesting about this layout is that L-shape is really gaining ground. We're seeing that L-shape with a kitchen in the middle being a very practical style, and homeowners are really embracing it. Majority of the renovations today are tilting towards L-shaped. But again, building on that sentiment, the next big rising star is a single wall layout for cabinetry. And when you think of galley layout, you typically think two walls facing each other. But the actual trend today is a single wall with a long island, similar to what's depicted on the picture here. And that is potentially the next rising star. Again, opens that kitchen up to the nearby rooms. And that takes me to the next trend. Our kitchens continue to be open concept. We've seen some rumor that maybe people are getting sick of it. Really not seeing that coming through in the data. Over 50% of homeowners are opening up their kitchens to the nearby spaces, and this open living space look is very, very trendy today still, as well as opening the kitchens to the outdoor spaces, either through a double door, a row of doors, a garage door that opens up, many, many different ways. But again, opening up the kitchen to all of your interior and outdoor, especially in southern states, is really, really popular today. And if you cannot open it to the outdoors, you put in a wall of windows to bring in that natural light, a big hot trend today in case you cannot afford opening up your kitchen to the outdoor spaces. So putting all of those trends together, let's talk what we can say about the next 10 years and what are algorithms telling us the next style, the next look and feel of the kitchen for the next 10 years. A few considerations to keep in mind as we move into the predictions is that for functional considerations, storage is key. Our editorial team calls all of the engagement with photos with storage porn. Homeowners want that storage porn, and we see a ton of information and content being delivered to homeowners about storage. Kitchen is an activity hub. It's an entertainment central. You just dumped $80,000 into a remodel of your kitchen. Guess what? Your kitchen is going to be your showpiece. You're going to show it off through entertaining there, through welcoming guests, through having dinners at that big, oversized island. In terms of the design considerations, the big key takeaways is the fact that kitchen has to flow to the nearby spaces. That integration absolutely has to be there. Natural light is of utmost importance, and it has to be stylish and beautiful. Hence, all of the conversation that we're having about what is the next design trend. And here's our prediction. Here's what our analytics is telling us in terms of the kitchen of the next 10 years. Look at this kitchen. This is a transitional style kitchen, comes in gray cabinetry, still preserves that shaker look, still has a nod towards traditional and contemporary at the same time, white countertops, L-shaped with a big oversized island and a lot of wood. A lot of accents put on lighting fixtures. This is what we think we're going to be trending towards in the next 10 years as the next big thing. Here is another alternative version of it. This is a farmhouse-style kitchen, very comfortable but chic at the same time. Very wide and spacious, a lot of natural light, some industrial elements coming from the lighting fixtures and some of the furnishings, but overall a very, very cozy place to spend your time in. All right, so that's the predictions for the kitchen. We just ran through it really fast. I'm going to do an even faster run through master bathrooms. And hopefully this has resonated and you guys are enjoying the content. Moving forward, let's talk about bathrooms. Not as much complex kind of dynamic going on in master bathrooms. However, master bathrooms today are the third most popular room to renovate. They moved up from a 5th spot in the last 5 years. Homeowners are investing a lot of money into master bathrooms in their master suite. There is a lot of reasons behind that. I could probably spend just an hour talking about why master suites are so, so important in our home today, but we're not going to talk about that today. I'll write a blog about it one day. So let's talk about the style. The first and foremost style in master bathrooms today is contemporary, but look at the market share. We're losing market share in contemporary. So contemporary was inspired very much by a lot of the spa-like bathrooms in hotels and commercial facilities, and homeowners really embraced that dynamic, really embraced that aesthetic and brought it into the home, but we're seeing that starting to slip, giving way to transitional kitchen, again, a more comfortable and more homey setting, a little more forgiving, borrowing elements from contemporary, but also preserving some of the traditional elements. So transitional is a steady second place, and takes a second place position. And here's the farmhouse style. We're not seeing the same market shares in kitchens. It's not 15, 16% in master bathrooms, but that's only because millennials are not renovating their master bathrooms with the same fury as baby boomers. The younger generation, they love their farmhouse. If they were renovating master bathrooms at a greater extent, they could afford it, we would see a lot more farmhouse. Farmhouse is really driven by that younger generation, and that is here to stay. That is not going away anytime soon, for the considerations that I talked about just a little bit. Victorian, and here is that Victorian style we mentioned yesterday, that throne that you guys saw. This is a much more stylish representation of Victorian as opposed to a toilet throne. What's interesting about the Victorian style is it's a lot of different things, but it's a nod to the legacy of potentially ancient times, medieval times. There's a lot of antique representation, a lot of brass elements, a really interesting tile. Not sure if Victorian is here to stay, but it's a really pleasing style to look at. And one key element to consider in your master bathroom design and master bedroom design is that integration between master bedroom and master bathroom suite. It just needs to be a seamless integration, and that's what homeowners seems like are being really drawn to. The seamless integration with no door in particular, potentially a window hole that you can look into your bedroom or vice versa, and a consistent style throughout. We're seeing that 4 in 5 master bathrooms share the style with master bedroom. Same coloring scheme, same flooring, oftentimes same trim work, same furnishings. It's just more of an integrated private retreat. Again, lots of reasons why we just want to go into that private retreat and isolate ourselves from that, from the noise of the outside. Shower. Shower is the focal point of any master bathroom. Homeowners are splurging on showers in a major way. Showers are increasingly bigger. We're just seeing that coming through with the data. What are you doing in your master bathroom? I'm removing the tub and increasing the size of the shower. Do you have a tub anywhere else in the home? For the most part, they do. They just don't want it in their master bathroom. They want a bigger shower. And here is a popular design for showers. Alcove shower with that 3-wall and a glass enclosure is a very popular style. Over 50% of shower upgrades incorporate this style. You can see how massive, how wide the shower is. And when we talk about enclosure, a lot of conversation right now about, do we even need that glass? You know, can we just open up our shower? Do we need that enclosure? Just not coming through in the data. 90% of the showers come with a glass enclosure. There's a lot of functionality to that, and people really love the glass look, and it comes in all sorts of versatile designs. The big innovation in shower today is the curb, right? And where we're traditionally looking at a standard curb of 6 to 8 inches, we're seeing the market share of the standard curb declining, giving way to a low curb or a curbless design, and that's where we're seeing a lot of integration right now, is bringing that curb down or taking it out altogether. But taking it out altogether is expensive, it's not that practical, and so we do see quite a bit of uptake of a lower curb design. Another really important point about master showers is the surfaces. A lot of money going into the surfaces. We're not seeing a ton of movement in surfaces. Ceramic porcelain tile is still at the top, followed by marble. What's interesting about ceramic and porcelain tile, it's so versatile. It's coming in so many textures, so many colors today, so many different looks that it's actually really hard to pin down and say, this is going to be the bathroom of the future. One thing we know, the bathroom of the future is going to be very eclectic. It's going to be very different from homeowner to homeowner, all about the preference for that ceramic tile look. And ceramic tile is somewhat more affordable than marble, and so we're seeing a lot of looks coming through with ceramic tile. Very important trend to note in showers is the fact that 2 shower heads is absolute must. An accommodation of 2 persons is an absolute must in the master suites. That's coming through. It's becoming very, very popular. And a big hot trend we're watching in showers is steam shower. Again, cost point came quite a bit down for the hardware for steam shower. That's a really, really big trend we're watching going forward. Vanity, again, very quickly here, white is really key for vanity. Wood is really coming back through that farmhouse aesthetic. We're seeing a lot of gray coming through in master bathrooms because of that, again, really easy to clean, really easy to integrate aesthetic. And again, these moody colors from Europe and other places in the world are coming through, with blue vanity being a very, very hot product today on Houzz.com. Similar elements going into sinks. 2 sinks are a must. Again, accommodation for 2 is the theme for master bathroom. Undermount sinks are really, really key. They're still a very big runner, have a really big market share, but the big rising star today is the vessel sink that comes in so many versatile shapes and forms. And finally, when we talk about toilets, most of the time with toilets on Houzz, you do not see them. Where is that toilet on the picture? It's impossible to find a good photo of toilets. And the reason why is because a toilet is often hidden behind a wall separation, and we want it kind of being put away. 2-piece toilets are something of the past. We're seeing 1-piece toilets being on the rise with a lot of frills, with a bidet functionality, with heating, with self-cleaning functions, a lot of tech being put into toilets, a really remarkable trend coming from Japan. And one big aesthetic we're looking at is this wall-mounted look. The floating look is a hot trend that we are watching. And so what are the predictions for bathrooms for the next 10 years? The bathroom predictions for the next 10 years are, again, coming down to those functional and design considerations. We want master bathrooms to be made for 2. We want them to be made for relaxation. We want them to be easy to clean. And that 1-piece toilet is really hitting that really hard. It needs to be easy to clean. When we look at the design consideration, again, beauty, natural light, spa-like feel is here to stay. We want our master suites to be spa-like. And so predictions, really quickly, as I'm running out of time here, here's a prediction that our algorithm is popping out, not something that I'm actually very surprised by. This prediction is really getting at the fact that we want that spacious, white-looking, spa-like, easy, airy feel with a lot of windows. And so this is a big prediction for the next 10 years. This look is here to stay. It's not going away anytime soon. But the next contender is the farmhouse. The farmhouse is really, really key with those subway brick tiles and the general earthy feel in the bathrooms. So with that, I would like to wrap up. Hopefully this visual buffet was stimulating, not too fast for you. There's so much data, it's really hard to know how to pack it all in 30 minutes. But one thing I do want to say, we know today remodeling industry has reached $425 billion. Harvard's report just came out. Homeowners are remodeling their existing homes with a fury. And they're not just inspiring to have something. They actually are putting a lot of these features in place. And as a result, I believe that this data is probably the best data we have today about real consumer preferences for trends. And so I hope you take note of this and incorporate it into your next designs. I think you have an impact unlike any single other company out there in terms of designing the home of the future. And I hope you can take some of these learnings into your own designs. Thank you very much.